Welcome on our day 15th, studying the Bhagavad Gita, 21 days straight. I just got a little distracted because the sun came up here suddenly and it's shining into my face. Let me take care of this. Just gonna lower the shade. Well, that was really intense, but now it's better. So I have a real treat for you today. We have been philosophizing. Is this even a word? I don't know. Doing lots of philosophy. And I thought I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit and just gonna take a look at the law of Dharma. The law of karma. After we recap what we have been doing really quickly, and I'm going to tell you a story. So with that, let us move on to this first slide. We've been talking about Buddhi Yoga as the main yoga a lot, and we started to look at the 4 sub-yogas that Krishna is teaching to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. We looked at that very precisely in the last 2 sessions. And there is Jnana Yoga, which is the yoga of sacred knowledge, Dhyana Yoga, which is the yoga of meditation, and Bhakti Yoga, which is the yoga of love, adoration, and worship. And our story is actually going to be connected with Bhakti Yoga. It's a really lovely one. It's one of my favorite stories. So let's see, we looked at karma. The word means action as a noun, and as a verb means to act and react. Karma in the Gita means a special kind of action, discipline, close to the meaning of being a disciplined action. We talked about it. There are lots of words, not a lot, but 4 words that is connected with karma, and the word karma is inside of the words. And we look at some of the examples. What does it mean? Bondage of action, the fruit of action, renunciation from action, and the actionless action, the naish karma, that Krishna is emphasizing on a lot as a suggested way to engage with action. Basically knowing that the action is being done done through you. The action is not done by you but through you. So being the right kind of instrument, basically it's just going back to that beautiful quote from Madame de Sausman, that we are here to become the right instrument to serve for the higher forces and help the earth to evolve. So here is another aspect of the word karma. I'm sure every one of you heard about the law of karma, might know as an idea that every action has a reaction. So this is the principle of cause and effect, is the foundation of the scientific researches. However, the science primarily focuses on the physical world, not our human world. So the consequences for humans are different than when we focus on the not living physical world so much. Everything has a little bit of of divine presence in them. According to the Indian tradition, even the bugs and of course animals, but even the rocks, which the science experimenting on, but us humans are in a little bit in a different group of the physical realm. I'm sure you know what I mean. So this statement is expressing karma, that we are kind of being stuck in an endless cycle. We are who we are and we act according to who we are, and continue doing so in endless cycles. Nothing is changing. Nothing changes, we don't change, and our act doesn't change either. So as one is, so one acts, and as one acts, so one becomes. So it's like the hamster wheel, if you wish to say it, view it that way. So we say as one is referring to who we are, but this isn't just about the present moment of who we are and our immediate circumstances. It is a tapestry woven from our entire past life. So just think about that we have a certain cultural background, a certain family upbringing, the music that shaped us, our gender, whether we have siblings or where we were born, and even the food we ate. All these contribute to who we are today. So this includes not just our individual experiences, but also the societal, family, and cultural influences that shaped us. So the common saying, as one is, so one acts, captures a part of this, but the more accurate reflection might be that as one is, so one reacts. Because our past has such a big imprint, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Imprint, an imprint on us that we react. If we not becoming aware of what's going on and where we came from, we just reacting to things. I can tell you a funny story. When I met with my husband, he has a few tattoos, and coming from Hungary, only gypsies had tattoos, and gypsies are not really highly referred by Hungarians. So when I saw him, I really liked everything about him, but he was like full of tattoos. So I asked my friend, an American guy, that I met with this guy and he's really nice and this and that, but he's full of tattoos. Like, what's up with that? And he just said, well, I think he likes tattoos. So see, he didn't have that kind of upbringing, that I wasn't even aware of that I'm so judgmental about having tattoos on you. So hope you appreciate the example. So this is why it's more accurately, we can change the first sentence from as one is, so one acts, to as one is, so one reacts. As I reacted to his look with the tattoos. So the transformation or a spiritual development could be summoned up, moving from this reaction to responding to something. Like, just like a newborn looks at the tattoos and wow, these are cool art pieces, or whatever he would think, he or she would think. So becoming aware of what brought a person here to reacting this way, and just responding to that, and that, for example, to return back to my personal example, that he's not necessarily kind of person that we put the gypsies in. Like in Hungary, the gypsies are from my experience, the gypsy people are, let's say, not so honest, and they are kind of like tricky in a not very good way. I had personal experiences with this, so I'm not just assuming, but I experienced this from a personal encounter from them. So that's where I came from, and my friend woke me up that, why, he's not a gypsy, he just likes tattoos. So we are aiming more to become more and more conscious of our ingrained patterns and choose our actions with intention rather than simply just reacting based on our past conditioning. So hence the response. Otherwise, if I just react, then that semicolon just reads to the next one as one acts, so one becomes. So nothing in me transformed by my actions, meaning I'm just again repeating myself. And there is a very strong addiction to the status quo. It is not so easy to change ourselves, but there is always yoga, the science of transformation, right? And there are very large forces working against us, which we can learn about in the story as well. So transformation can sound like a good idea until I have to change something that gets me out of my comfort zone, for example, right? We mentioned several times that yoga is the art and science of transformation, so it works the opposite direction. It is a way of getting us out of our conditioned patterns from the status quo. That's why we're here, right? Because we're ready, hopefully. So the whole magic is in that semicolon, meaning if I'm in a situation where I'm bound to act in a certain way, but if and when I become aware of this and act otherwise, so I'm not reacting anymore, but responding, this is where the transformation is taking place. So hence, instead of as one acts, so one becomes, by transformation is taking place, as one responds, so one becomes another person. So again, the first statement expresses karma as you are stuck, but the second one give us hope for a way and a way to get out of this cycle. So karma is indeed determined to some degree, and we will learn about that in the story as well. But there are some chances, there is a possibility of freedom in it as well. So again, returning back to Jesus Christ, he's the greatest example. He's in the cross, and he still asks for forgiveness of those who actually put him on the cross. Of course, he's on a different level, but still we can take small steps towards this idea by noticing our situation, and where we usually react, we respond instead. So I have this story for you about the law of karma from the Indian tradition, and the story is connected with another big epic. So the story is about, is the karma determined or do we have free will? So the story is from the Ramayana. It's actually the backstory of the Ramayana. Maybe some of you know about the Ramayana. It's the other big epic next to the Mahabharata. Remember, the Mahabharata is including the Bhagavad Gita that we are studying, and the Ramayana is the other big epic. There are two big epics in the Indian tradition, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. I always like stories, including fairy tales, legends, and folk stories, all of them. But when I started to read the myths from the Indian tradition, they really touched my heart and helped me to understand better some of the bigger questions in life that I was always wondering about. Like questions about the law of karma and is it predetermined or do we have free will? Maybe you are wondering about the same thing also. They also developed, they also supported me to have developed discrimination regarding when to take action and when to surrender. And this question was also brought up after our session yesterday, if you remember. It is not so easy to be still and surrender. However, knowing that there are very large forces in action makes the process of letting go a little bit easier. So the following story is exactly about these very large forces in action. It is the backstory of the Ramayana, which is about the adventures of Rama. That is why called Ramayana. So Rama seems to be a human, but really he is an incarnation of Vishnu, who is responsible of the maintenance of the universe. Remember Krishna, who we're studying about, Krishna and Arjuna? Krishna is another incarnation of Vishnu, an avatar of Vishnu. Vishnu incarnates when he has to maintain dharma on the earth because the opposite forces threw the world out of balance. So here it was a time for Vishnu to incarnate in a human body, as this was the only way to take care of some serious business on this planet Earth. And the serious business was in the shape of an asura, a villain, in the story named Ravana. Here is Ravana. Can I move myself down? Yes, I can. So Ravana is at the corner that he has many heads and he's very, very large and has lots of arms, meaning very powerful. And our Rama is the archer on the left, and the story is about Rama is freeing Ravana, and I'm using the word freeing for a reason. So Ravana too practiced devotion towards the God and got very powerful, as you can see on the picture, has many boons and almost have immortality. But in his arrogance, he forgot to ask protection from monkeys and humans as he looked down on them. So Ravana was a great devotee of Shiva, and even if they are bad, they still give them boons because they worship them. So here is the same thing happened. He received these boons for Krishna, but so from Shiva, sorry, but his ego just grew and grew and grew, and he went towards the wrong direction. So, as in these stories usually happen, Shiva comes to the rescue and takes birth as a monkey. So, our other hero in, where is my, I left the, sorry, I left the slide out. So Ravana and Hanuman is the monkey, and they form an alliance. How does it happen? So Shiva comes to the rescue and takes birth as a monkey. And as you can imagine, he's not just an ordinary monkey, but a very powerful and wise and very humble one. So what happens, Ravana, this Asura, bad guy, villain, that's what I was looking for. Ravana kidnaps Rama's wife, Sita, and takes her back to his remote island of Lanka. And Rama desperately searches the whole entire Indian continent for Sita, but he couldn't find her. But he meets Hanuman, the monkey, who is not an ordinary monkey because Shiva, another god, incarnated as him. And after some mischief, they get together and form alliance, Rama and Hanuman, the monkey, and they assemble a big army. There are thousands of monkeys and all other magical beings on their side, and they go to a battle against Ravana and his minions. So now let's pause here and understand an important element of these mythological stories that was most confusing for me for the longest time. So it was always said that the villains got killed. So it was, it was not said that the villains got killed, but they were actually freed. But why freed? What does it mean that they were freed? It seemed to me that they were very much just slayed, like slaughtered, eradicated, finished, period. And this is where things get interesting, as these stories have many different layers. So back to our storyline, Rama, along with Hanuman the monkey leading the monkey army, arrived to Lanka, and after a long, intense battle, they free Ravana, not kill, but free Ravana from his Asura body, from his many-headed villain body. And it's the same with Kumbhakarna, Ravana's brother. So Rama, is killing Ravana in here, and this huge big giant is Kumbhakarna, and Rama also is killing Kumbhakarna. So here is our backstory of Ramayana for you. Awesome. So Rama didn't just happen to go after Ravana to conquer him, the villain, because he abducted Sita, his wife. But this was meant to happen because a long, long time ago, even before the Ramayana took place, in the celestial abode of Vishnu lived Jaya and Vijaya, who are the gatekeepers of Vishnu's estate. Here is Jaya and Vijaya, the two blue person at the gate of Vishnu's estate. They are guarding the gate. They were very dedicated to Vishnu and took their job of safekeeping the gate very seriously. One day, the four sons of Brahma came to the gate. They called the Brahma Kumaras, literally meaning the sons of Brahma. And they appear to be little boys, but they are extremely knowledgeable. I try to bring myself here so you can see the four little boys. They look like little boys, but again, they are very knowledgeable. They know the Vedas inside and out, and they are the holder of the Vedas actually that contain the supreme teachings. They came to the gate to have a meeting with Vishnu. Remember, Vishnu is the main deity, the maintainer deity out of the three deities, whose incarnation is Krishna and Rama as well. So they came to Vishnu, but the gatekeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, stopped them and did not let them in because they didn't have an appointment. So Jaya and Vijaya failed to recognize their importance and realized that they should make an exception by granting them access to Vishnu. This action of Jaya and Vijaya not seeing the Brahmat Kumaras for who they actually are results them getting cursed. So the four little boys curse the gatekeepers that they may be born on earth as humans, so they will know what suffering means. How about that? At this point, Vishnu came to the gate and asked the four brothers to please forgive Jaya and Vijaya because they are so devoted to him. They just wanted to protect him, and they didn't know who they are. They just made an honest mistake out of ignorance. So Vishnu tries to ask the brothers to take their curse back, but it is impossible to take a curse back, but they can add to it. This is always the case. You will see other stories the same. When someone gets cursed, the curse can't be taken back, although they ask to be taken back, but they can add to it. So very playful. I love it. So the Brahmat Kumaras offer Jaya and Vijaya two choices. Choice number one is that they have to take 7 births as Vishnu's devotees, and after those 7 births, they can come back to Vishnu's abode. So they would be on Vishnu's side, they worship him for 7 births, and after that, they can come back to be the gatekeepers. Choice number 2 is that they can only take, they will only take 3 births, but as Vishnu's opponents, as Vishnu's enemies. And after those 3 births, they can come back to his gatekeepers once again. So they didn't want to stay away from Vishnu, so they chose the later versions without hesitation. So they only take 3 births, but they gonna be Vishnu's enemies. They said they would rather be his enemy for those 3 births, which is a much shorter period of time than the 7 births, and they can get back to him as soon as possible. So next, Vishnu, wanting to be helpful, he promises that he will incarnate with them in those 3 births, so he will be able to liberate them. Listen up, to free them from their human bodies in each birth as soon as they complete their quest. So this is where the freeing of Ravana and Kumbhakarna came from. So back to our story, this is why we say that Rama freed Ravana, because Ravana completed his quest, and it was time for Rama, who was the incarnation of Vishnu, to free him from his body. Same with Kumbhakarna. He fulfilled his quest in that life. So Rama, again, who is incarnation of Vishnu, freed him, cured him from this body. Isn't that something else? So even though some parts of the Ramayana seem unjust, same as our life, these parts sometimes do not make sense if we just stay in the framework of the adventures of Rama in the Ramayana. But when we rise above that level, if we know the backstory that I just told you, the backstory of Jaya and Vijaya, we gain understanding of the bigger picture. And we understand why the story says that Rama freed these villains from the body. So this rising above the framework of the Ramayana, the act of opening our eyes to the unknown could result in us giving space to surrender to the fact that there are bigger and more powerful forces in action in the universe that know better how to operate the world than us. So basically back to that notion or idea in the Bhagavad Gita, when we talked about karma as action, that we have a part to play. We have a part to play. We still have to play our part, even when some parts of our life is determined, but it matters to do our part, and it matters how we do our part. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed the story. This is how much time we had for today, and tomorrow we're gonna move to the next phrase, which is jnana, sacred knowledge. So we're gonna take a look at it. Thanks for being here. I am looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.